On my last video, when I was showing the outdoors around my house on the property, I asked what the berries were, and I had a comment that they were rose hips. That was from my sister. Thanks, Lori. Rose hips are called these little orange berries that are on and around the rose bushes. So no brainer. Turns out they are super, super packed with vitamin C. In fact, here in France, during the war, people really harvested the rose hips because they had a hard time getting citrus, I guess, especially up north, I would assume. And they were really using rose hips to keep themselves healthy and keep their immune system up during those hard war times. So I have a garden like right here full of rose hips, and there's a tea you can make with them to drink, help your immune system, get a good dose of vitamin C. Apparently they have more vitamin C in them than citrus. They taste apparently like an apple cranberry kind of flavor. We're gonna go outside and pick some, and we're gonna make the tea. So you don't want to pick the brown looking ones, just the bright orange ones. They're a lot brighter at the other end. I just grabbed a couple because I don't even know if I like them. So we'll go make some tea and see. Now the thing to know about rose hips, there's the little berries and they come out after the rose falls off. So inside they have seeds and all of these little hairs. And the hairs have actually been called the itching powder. Now they're not itching powder, but they can be very irritating. So you can wear thin gloves when you're scraping out the insides. And that is why the mushy ones, you want the harder, firmer ones, because you have to scrape the seeds and the little hairs out of them before you boil them. Or you can boil them whole, mash them, and then strain them through like cheesecloth or something. That's going to block those irritating little fuzzy things from the inside of the rose hips from getting into your tea, because they can really irritate your throat as well. Hello, Pusheen. So we're going to cut off that little brown tail part, and then we're going to slice it sideways like a pepper. If you have a little spoon, like an espresso spoon like this, that can make it very easy to scrape. I'm going to hold it with a paper towel just to avoid getting that stuff on me. Right in our gardens. We've really lost the ability to go out into our garden and look and get our own medicine. Do you know what I mean? I wish they were a little easier to deal with, honestly. Like you could just, well, I guess you can just boil them whole and then strain it. I think that would be the easier way to do things. Now we're gonna boil our rose hips. So in France, you can, if you see a tree with something growing on it and you want to pick it, you can go ahead and pick anything you want off any tree that you find. But I wouldn't recommend it because it might be on somebody's property and they might be a little annoyed about it. What we have is quite pink, so we're gonna let it steep a little longer. It's very important when you're boiling these just to bring it to a boil quickly and then turn it all the way down to a simmer. Because if you overboil it or boil it for too long, it's going to destroy the vitamin C that you're trying to get out of it. It can also make it a little too bitter. I figured out a way to really make sure I don't have any of those little itching powder, irritating hairs from inside the rose hips in my tea, because I have a shaker, and the shaker comes with this strainer. So I put that in there. So that'll strain out the skins and the large chunks that we obviously don't want in our tea. But I'm also going to put like a cloth over it, and then I can just screw that on. So that's going to double strain my tea. Okay, so we've poured it all in. See how pretty rosy color it is? So most of the large bits actually stayed in the pot as I drained the water out of it, but I still want to make sure I don't get any of those irritating little inner hairs in. And I think I removed all of them pretty good, but we're gonna do a double filter here. So we have our little glass so we can see. Look how pretty it is. You see how pretty the tea is? It's like a pink color. So do you dare me to taste it? I think it would be good with something sweet in it, like honey. You can also make rosehip syrup by boiling it down like this and then adding sugar or honey to it and then putting it back on the stove and making it really thick. So you get rosehip syrup that way. I think that would be really tasty, and that's really good for you too. You're still gonna get all the vitamin C. It's not tart or bitter. Oh, there we go. We made rosehip tea right from stuff in our own garden. Who knew? If you like what you're seeing here today, like this video, hit subscribe. I think I got one of those hairs in my throat. Great. I'm gonna drink some wine now.